What do you call a fish with no eyes? So there was a kidnapping at the high school the other day. The kid's fine now. He woke up.
It's a big mental shift, like everyone started knowing nothing until they knew something,
Okay.
right?
Okay, super.
So my biggest learning curve is just like, you just have to swallow your pride and just be like, I'm open to learn, and it's fine to be wrong.
How's it, guys? I don't sound like that normally.
What up? Guys, hey guys, welcome to P Square Podcast. I'm here with our boy Greg and me, Ewan. This should be a fun time. Hope you guys enjoy.
I used to be very scared of stairs, but now I'm on the steps of recovery.
Are you recording?
Yeah. you can chop all of that out.
Okay.
People say I'm very much extroverted. I'm not.
Oh, okay. I'm back.
So ninjas don't drink water. They drink water.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Welcome to P Squared Podcast. This is episode 10, I believe. And today I have user Uan Hermanus, or he's a raw, so I should say Hermanus. Or what? So yeah, normally we start first with our moment. So I'm just gonna ask him to pick about 3 cards, and he's gonna pick 3 questions again out of 5 from the laptop. Right?
All right.
Okay, cool. So just randomly pick any 5. Okay. Don't look at them.
5, you say?
No, just 3. Sorry.
3. Okay. Okay.
That.
2. Let's take the
That.
top one.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Give it to me.
All right.
No lies. Tomorrow's church, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is your best friend and why? Oh, I hope you do have one because, yeah.
Dang, I don't like titles, man. I have a bunch of close friends.
No, who is your best friend?
My best friend.
Yes.
I'll shout out there to my bestie there out there. Her name's Layla Salia. She's a very cool person.
Okay.
We went through a lot. Very cool person. She helped out with a lot. Helped her out with a lot. And yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Describe your perfect day.
My perfect day.
Yes, sir.
I wake up without an alarm clock.
Okay.
As my one friend always used to say, it's wake up natural, right? So
Okay.
cool. Would like to wake up natural. Now it depends on what time I wake up, hey?
Give me something.
Cool. Let's decide. I wake up natural. Next perfect day. It's not too cold. Nice. I can walk out with shorts and a t-shirt. And pluckies.
Yeah.
Nice weather. We have water. That's always a good to have. Followed by, honestly, I would like to watch maybe 2 good movies. And play a couple of video games.
Okay.
And to end it off, maybe with a couple of friends, play a couple board games. I'll call that a nice wholesome day.
Okay. I think you need about a 30-hour day. Yeah. For all of that.
It depends what time I wake up.
Yeah. Okay. Last one. If you were invincible, where would you go and what would you do?
If I was invisible,
Yes.
where would I go? What would I do? How long am I invisible?
Let's say for a month then.
Am I invisible such that I have the power to be like, bam, I'm invisible, or like I'm just constantly invisible?
You're invisible like the whole time.
So I can't go back to like. So you can see me. Dang, that's tough. What would I do and where would I go? In my head, all I'm thinking about is food.
So just like people see food
I would,
going to.
I would legit like go. If I could, I'll go to Thailand and go to the market and just chow the food there. Like honestly, that will be a time.
I would say I travel the world because nobody will see you get in a plane, go somewhere.
Yeah, I can travel the world for food. That sounds a bit better actually, but
Okay, cool. Then just stepping into your personal life then. I have 5 questions. So you just pick 3 out of 5.
alright.
Yeah. So which numbers you gonna pick?
Oh, so I don't
between
know
1
the
and 5.
questions.
Yeah.
2, 4, 1.
2, 4, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go in that order. What were your early experiences with what were your early experiences with education like? How did they set the stage for your academic and personal development?
Interesting. All right. In terms of like my education, I started my education journey first in a very English environment. So my
there's no
foundation,
doubt about that.
my foundation years going from like pre-primary all the way to like grade 3 was like strictly English. After that, I moved to like a dual medium English Afrikaans type school environment. That was quite tough. I'm not gonna lie. Adjusting to a class taught mostly in Afrikaans really required you to do everything on yourself.
Okay.
So that's set the tone of I don't always have to pay attention. I can do it myself. It was yeah, and then but what made
Okay.
it tough was if we're learning new concepts. So I didn't know originally that I really liked math and that in school until I actually went through the work and did it myself. And this was only in grade 8, grade 9, and I discovered this is actually really cool stuff. After that, I discovered like, wow, this is actually a field I would like to touch with further on. And it kind
Okay.
of set how I'm in the chose STEM as my current career path and that. Yeah.
Okay, super. Then 4, are there any cultural traditions or practices from your upbringing that you continue to uphold or cherish today?
Guys, on Easter, pickled fish and hot cross buns.
Yes, sir.
Best believe. The combo, it just works. Oh, that one I'll keep.
You'll keep that.
That one I'll keep.
But do you go home during that time?
It depends. Last year I went home. The year before I didn't go home. So
Okay.
so I would.
But when you're here, you do it yourself.
I try.
Yeah, it doesn't slap the same.
It's not, going home, and the fan making it. Oh, it's much better.
Yeah.
So pickled fish and hot cross buns go to.
Yeah. So last one, you said 1, right?
Yes.
Were there any significant figures or events during your childhood, that influenced the person you are today?
Wow. Retrospection. That's okay. Let me think about this.
Yeah.
Significant events.
Yeah. I'm very specific, sir.
One thing, I guess, touching base on academics again. I went to I guess you say this summer school thing like grade 10, I believe, was a grade
Yeah.
11, and it really shifted the way also how I went about studying and learning new content. I remember the facilitator was asking us questions, and then I remember I just read this thing in a book, so I kind of just parroted out there, and then the way she just cross-questioned what I was saying. Just so she can stress, like, do you actually understand what you read? Do you understand how they came about these ideas and that stuff? That one really shaped my mind. Juffrouw Haas, if I recall. She really shaped my mind there on how to think.
For a second there, you didn't sound like a rah-rah.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Like I felt very humbled at that moment. That was that one struck me out. I can just think about that now.
Okay, so you finish with your questions. Okay, now let's step into your. What would you say is your therapy, your go-to?
My therapy.
Yes, on a good day, this is what you go to. On a bad day, this is something you go to.
I like to calm myself down really, and just to refocus stuff. It's kind of, I like to just be alone.
Okay.
I get my energy from being alone. And one thing that I like to do is, I guess it's a bit geeky that, but I like the puzzles, the Rubik's Cube, and that I like to just solve that because it's just like one thing I'm focusing on,
Yeah,
something
okay.
I have in control, and it's just very satisfying to just solve some puzzle. So that
Okay.
is my go-to.
You got it. So now, if I have to mess it up right now, that Rubik's Cube, how long will it take you to sort it out?
The normal cube, I can do it in about under 20 seconds.
Okay, give me one. Let me mess it up and see. There. Okay. Then the other one, how long would it take?
Oh, also another thing, a good therapy one as well. I mean, that's a physical one, but also like an spiritual note as well. I also like to put on some worship music there, and that really helps me calm down as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On a normal day, regular day.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, I don't even know how to mess it up because you're gonna get it very quickly.
So interesting fact, right? I think it was in the early 2010s. I think it was 2010. Some researchers there used some Google's computing power, and they calculated that it takes at most 20 moves to solve a cube in any state. Like that's
Okay.
the most optimal way to do it. Me, I can't do it in like 20 moves, but like interesting fact.
Okay, give me the other one then.
Okay.
Give me the other one while you've sorted this one out.
Okay, yeah, this one will take a bit long. This one's nice and quick.
No, this one is quick. I want the other one.
The triangle?
Yeah, triangle.
Okay, it's a nice one.
Which one is easy?
That one.
This one? How about
That
this
one.
one?
That one, I haven't solved it in a while. So just let me know when I could commence. So in official comps, like cubing events, you get like 15 seconds to inspect.
Okay.
So let me know when.
Okay, let's see. I don't know how to even click some.
Okay.
Wait. I'll do this. I'll set a timer for you, so you can sort it out. I want to see something.
Okay, I'll just put it down.
Okay. And miss this one. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Right about. Wait.
Let me know. Just give me like a countdown.
Wait. Tell you. That's good. Yes. Right about now. Oh, okay.
I'm done.
That's cool.
What was my
14
time?
seconds.
14, oh, that's cool.
14 seconds. That's cool. Then this one, let's go.
So this one is called a Pyraminx.
Okay.
It's like a pyramid style puzzle. I can't tell you how fast I can do this. Let's say under 15 seconds.
Under 15 seconds.
Let's say under 15 seconds. It's been a while since I've solved this one.
Okay, that about start now. Oh.
Okay.
Why you like sure? Like 15 seconds.
Nice.
It
Not my
was 15
proudest moment.
seconds.
I used to be under 10 seconds.
Under
but
10 seconds.
But I've not practiced that puzzle in a while.
Damn.
Yeah.
Then you see, you are into all this other stuff. Then I see about like 1,000 game boards.
So yeah, I think around
But why?
2017, I think, I started collecting board games as well. I don't know, it just seemed very interesting and nice. I mean, I like video games, but then I was like, just on YouTube, I just found people play some board games and look very entertaining, very interesting, like the strategies you have to think about, and it's all like, it's real time, you play with people, so it's also it's a social game as well. So that really captivated me as well. So I started collecting, I think around 2017. I think my first game I acquired was Ticket to Ride Europe. Very fun game. Basically, the premise is you have a map of Europe and you have to try to dominate the railroads.
Oh, okay.
Very simple to learn, but it gets quite difficult when you play with a lot of people.
Yeah, you
And yeah,
you have a lot of like these games that I've never seen in my life. But okay, cool. Then Ewan didn't give me okay, actually he gave me the contacts of two people, but there were no shows. So I'm gonna do this like just different from the other ones, from the other episodes. So it will be more like the interview where I'm asking you questions, then you give me the answers because your people didn't show up. So
sorry.
yeah. So tapping into high school, you mentioned like the academics actually. You said primary school you went to English school, then
Yeah, it's mostly English.
yeah. Then varsity, no, high school you went to the mix then English and Afrikaans.
Yeah, like halfway through primary school, I went to a dual medium.
Yeah.
High school was also strictly dual medium, but like it's dual medium on paper, but it's practically 80% of your class is Afrikaans. So like my day-to-day like lesson was 80% of the content was taught in Afrikaans and only the key words were
Yeah.
said in English. I remember asking like
Was your
accounting-
English class also in Afrikaans?
No, the
again?
English class was actually proper English. Oh, that was so difficult. Yo,
Okay.
English was my worst subject in high school. Oh, I struggled a lot in that language.
But you've been doing it.
Yeah, there's a difference of speaking it and actually,
Okay.
doing the academic portion of it. I struggled a bit there.
But was it a home language?
It was
You
my
took
home
it out-
language.
oh, okay.
I took
Okay, cool.
English home language.
Yeah, you wouldn't have survived if it was Afrikaans home language.
I think I could have survived a bit. It would have forced me to study.
Nah, you wouldn't. Then, like, how was your academic performance like when comparing the primary school and the high school?
I think primary school, I guess I was just average. I guess it's primary school. I didn't care that much, right? It was
Oh,
just
okay.
like it was pass, right? I did okay. I think I was average in primary school, and
Mhm.
then grade 10, I believe, is when I started performing, but more academically. I think the big factor was because I was doing subjects that I had more interest in,
Okay.
and yeah, it really showed. If I had interest in something, I would perform better. All those other subjects we took throughout school, I couldn't have cared that much. I was just like, I just have to do it.
No, okay.
So grade 10, I started performing academically. Yeah.
Then when did you decide to do electronics engineering? That's the one.
Oh, that was tough. Initially, I wanted to go into like computer science.
Oh,
So that was like early high school. I started discovering like there's this whole world of computer programming and that. Reason I got interested in that was because I like video games, and I was like, video games are expensive. So my first thing was like, how to make video games. And then there's this whole, you need to learn this programming stuff. I'm like, what is this? So my school didn't have programming. So in order for me to like learn this, I started like self-teaching myself how to code in high school and that. And then as high school progressed and then around matric, then I discovered there's this field of like electronic or computer engineering. And I was like, oh, it does actually a lot of stuff that maybe comp-sci majors would have done. But then I would have gotten some like hardware exposure. And I was like, okay, cool. I would like to get some hardware exposure as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, go to electronic engineering. If I still want to become like a program or something in the future, it still gives me the opportunity. So I was like, yeah, let me go for that. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Then you're electronics, computer science. Then it means like you're good with this programming. What language did you know then?
I think my first language I taught myself was Java. That was like in
Okay.
high school. And then I started, I think around matric, I started learning like Python. Because then my interest again was still like, how do you make video games and that stuff. So then I was like, cool.
Well, that's why you have all these board games now.
Yeah. So I started playing around with some like video game stuff also in Python. I mean, I made nothing big. I just played around to say like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do this? I remember like
okay.
during uni, I think I was just supporting one friend that was writing like a supplementary exam. So I was like, okay, I'll join him at the.
Do you write for them?
No, I was just during the study session. I was just like,
Yeah.
I just went with him to the study like lab area. So then they were working on whatever exams we're preparing for, and I was like, okay, I was like, how do I make in video games like in side scrollers, so like like Mario, you can see your character moves right, but then the background moves left. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, how do you make this from like first principles? So then I remember I came up with my own like design. It worked. That was
Okay.
very satisfying to make. Unfortunately, I think I lost the code. That hard drive died.
You
But
can
that
do
was-
it again.
I
You've
could
seen
do
your
it again,
head, so-
yeah. I still remember the base principles, but that was really fun.
Okay. Then out of all the languages, which one do you think is the best?
Now I tend to just use Python, even like at
Recently.
work.
Oh, okay.
It's just very convenient to like hack things together. But again, depends on your application, right? What you want to
Yeah.
do. If
But
I
again,
want-
you're used to it, so like it's easy for you.
Yeah, once you learn one, like it's easy to learn. Like in uni, the first language that I made everyone learn. So all the different engineering disciplines was like C.
Oh,
And
okay.
like the C is interesting because of like how not intuitive it is. Like you have to define everything you want to do. Python has nice like simple ways to describe how to do something. If I
Oh,
want
okay.
to write something out to a computer screen, in Python you just have to write one line. In C you have to write like 5, 6 different lines, which all have their own separate meanings. So like it, but what I appreciate from that, it helped also deep understand how a computer works.
So okay,
And then
so-
in uni we dived also deeper on like how does computers work on the binary level and that. So that actually was very satisfying to understand. So I'm not like I say the greatest. I mean, there's always more stuff to learn, but I'm fairly comfortable.
Okay. Then asking you a question again. What are the most you can also again tap into varsity, but what are the most memorable achievements you had throughout your academic life then?
I think most of it was in uni.
Okay.
Those practicals very satisfying when they work. I know in electronics you do a lot of like the hardware or like working with circuits design.
Yeah.
Those stuff are very stressful because it's easy to blow a component and that. And then if you have a deadline, you're like, dang, you have to get a new component and everything.
Oh, okay.
Like that's where we have the practical circuit ones. I think one of the most satisfying ones was I think our first year programming course. Our problem was design like a maze solver. So you had like a robot that had to just navigate a maze. Any type of maze they could input, but he has to just solve it. And then like the bonus points was like, can you design an optimal solver? So they gave us like key stuff like design using these rules, and then the bonus one was design your own one.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I remember my friend at like 11 p.m. at nights. So it was due the Monday. This was now the Saturday before. And then my friend showed me this video of this robot navigating this maze. And then I was like, okay, cool. I like how the way it's doing it. Let me
Yeah.
just hack it around. Yeah, it took like 2-3 hours. Now it was like Sunday morning at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, dang, I need to be at church like at 6. So I
Yeah.
finished around 3 a.m. And then yeah, I took like a quick nap and got to church. So like it was a good day. That was very satisfying. Yeah, another cool one was also my final year when I had
Okay.
to like my final year project was basically build a type of AI that can play volleyball.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that project was kind of stressful because I tried one approach where you could say a common thing you hear people buzzwords, they talk about stuff called like neural networks and deep learning and that. So I wanted to take an approach that's linear, that's more non-linear approach. But the linear results kept failing me. And then I know like 3 weeks before the deadline of that project, I was like, let me attempt the non-linear deep learning approaches. Immediately I got results. I was
Okay.
like, it was actually very satisfying because now you could actually see the game itself. Like I didn't have to create the volleyball game. There was already a game. I just had to create the players for it.
Seems like electronics is very nice. Like you guys are doing.
Oh no, it was insane. And the bad thing is like, it depends on your view. It's also good was that with my human trials to the game, the humans lost.
Okay. It's
But
kind
it
of
was
weird.
Very,
Okay.
very satisfying.
I've never heard like someone from varsity doing all this interesting stuff. Like for guys who doing chemical, like you doing like work kind of things.
Yeah.
But for you guys, okay.
No, I like the way it was structured in my university, where, say, in our practical stuff, they would, some courses would do it like maybe design a computer CPU, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe one uni would have said like you have to design a whole one, and that's your big thing. Our one, it was like we're gonna design each component individually
Oh.
and be like, okay, cool. So you understand how this works. Okay, next practical, do the other thing. So we got to focus deeper on the smaller aspects, because then combining is not too hard, because now if you understand how it works,
Yeah.
that was very stressful and satisfying, because like if your circuit doesn't work, you fail.
But now, like someone who wants to do electronics, I guess like you go through math and science,
Yeah.
and then you went to Stellenbosch.
Yeah, I went to Stellenbosch.
So the choices that you had, like when you're applying,
Yeah.
they said like what's the second option? Was the computer science like you mentioned?
Let me think about this. I think I took electronic engineering as my first choice, computer science as my second choice, and my third choice was like nuclear physics. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then someone who wants to go the electronic engineering route, what is it? What interest must they have to make sure
Okay.
that they survive in that environment?
One thing, this is general for just engineering or
Okay.
any like STEM thing. You must like math.
Okay.
Like, if you hate math, don't do it. Like, because you'll do a lot of math that you won't remember. But you do a lot of math. You can even from chemical engineering. Like, you guys do also a lot of hectic math. Like, we all
Yeah, just so what? It's just like more of like having you like problem solving.
problem solving. That's a cool thing, and you shouldn't be scared that you're solving problems using math. Like,
Yeah.
another thing that I saw is a lot of people thought that computer science and electrical computer engineering, it's the same thing. So I had some friends who came in, was like they really like programming, and they thought we would do a lot of programming in our course, but you don't do as much as a computer science student.
Oh.
We applied a bit. Programming is not necessarily our main thing we do. It's just a tool to help us solve some of our problems, right?
Okay.
We focus a lot more on signals and circuits, and coding does form part of the whole toolbox that you have. So some people who then struggle a bit with electronics, but once they dropped out from there and transferred to computer science, I saw them flourish there. So you have to really know what you want to get in. Do you want to focus a lot more on the software engineering aspect of things? Then rather go the computer science, software engineering route. But if you want to focus more on understanding the hardware and how does computers really transfer information from one point to another point, what is this wireless technology, what's renewable energy, if you want to build robots, you want to understand that, like from like the hardware perspective, as well as integration with software. Consider going into electronic engineering, but it's a very broad spectrum. Like, if you will touch software. So if you want to touch software, you will touch a bunch of software. You will touch a bunch of hardware. You will touch energy, renewable energy, heavy current. So that's like power lines. Low current. That's like dealing with like audio amplifiers. It's very broad field.
Yeah. Then you mentioned like the currents now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how is it different from electrical? I guess, but I guess it's in the answer again. But yeah.
I guess it depends on your university, really.
Okay.
So, like, what you can see generally, some places might just offer electrical engineering, but then inside electrical engineering, you can do the electronics aspects. So electrical engineering is kind of like the big name, and then everything is like a subset of it.
Okay.
But typically how they divide it is like heavy currents, electrical, light currents, electronic. But in that case, it just means like when you're dealing with high energy systems. So think about like motors, generators, stuff that is powering electricity to our homes. You want to deal with renewable energy. How does solar panels, how does that integrate? How can we transfer energy there? That's typically the electrical engineering side. And then electronic engineering is more of the computer aspects, if you put it like that. The small electronics, stuff that take like 5, 12 volts. You can take like a Duracell battery, like things like that. Electronics a lot focus more on that aspect if I were to simplify it.
Oh, okay.
But it's
to make it easy
Yeah.
for someone who doesn't understand, I get it.
yeah, and depending on university, they may you might graduate with electrical engineering, but then the modules you chose is all electronic subjects.
Okay.
So it's kind of like it depends where you go. Some universities offer electrical only and electronic only. Then
Oh.
you're going into the high energy or the low energy systems.
Oh, okay.
Stellenbosch did it where it was electrical and electronic. That was your degree. So like your first 3 years, you kind of all take the same subjects. So you have like a foundation in like both fields, and then like in your fourth year, final year, you can kind of pick a focus stream. You want to
Yeah.
focus on the high energy, robotics. You want to focus on telecommunication. So yeah, it's a very broad
Broad.
field.
Yeah. Then if you were to check through your academic journey, what would you say is there was a significant like challenge that you experienced? Like you were like, yeah, this is too much. This is gonna break me. Like this is the end. Or it can be a module or something.
It was my final year project. Oh, that thing broke me. That one, because I was like, it was a lot of pressure because nothing is working, no results are coming in.
Yeah.
It's just like, why? Like, I'm doing this, this, and this. So you have to really think like, okay, what are methods that I know are currently working? How can I innovate and use this? That one taught me how to work quickly, write up quickly. So
I mean, like you 3 weeks before the submission, then
Oh,
it just
that
was
that-
really good.
that was such a push. It was very satisfying when the results came out, but I'll say that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Another one, it was mostly in my third and final year, for fourth year. That's when we started doing
Yeah.
the design modules as well. So design, that one actually does chop because you kind of left on
Okay.
you kind of left to your own. They say this is a problem, find a solution. So that one is a lot of playing around, like trying to okay, we learned this in this module, let's integrate it here. Does it work? No. Okay, why didn't it work? Let's do that. So that bigger systems thinking and integrating all this stuff, that was a big milestone. I thought it was like,
Okay.
that was tough.
Very cool. Yeah, but just to generalize now, during the varsity life, then beginning of your career, like how do you balance the, your personal life, the career, faith?
That was quite tough.
How do you find the balance on that?
Oh, that was tough. Your first year of moving over to working was tough. I mean, first, because currently I'm in the control and instrumentation environment where I'm working in, which is very different to what I studied in uni in that point.
I was gonna ask that.
So imposter syndrome is big because I'm moving from a space where I focus a lot more on maybe electronics, maybe robotics and that. Now I'm moving to a space where the application is the petrochemical industry.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Something I never thought about doing in uni, and that I could involve some of the learnings suffered in some modules here. So learning to integrate that with this new application, very much imposter syndrome. I'm just learning what is the distillation column. I have no idea.
Because I was thinking about what you just explained, all the nice stuff that you did. Then you came here into this energy business. Then
yeah. So
how do you integrate that?
What I had to do was a mindset change of cool, it's just a problem that you have, right?
Okay.
You have the tools. You did a bunch of math applied to one thing, but I mean, it's the same math applied to all other disciplines, right?
Exactly.
And then instead of necessarily focusing on everything from the nitty gritty to the first principle, right? Understand it on a bigger first systems view, what are we doing? What are we trying to control? And then trying to apply it to what I've learned and apply that knowledge here. So if I start thinking in terms of signals, and that's a heavy focus we did at uni, and then okay, this whole distillation column just consists of a bunch of inputs coming in, bunch of outputs, something to control. And then I view from that view, then it's easier to learn how things work and starting to learn and gain an intuition of okay, this is how this process will affect this other process.
Oh.
So that was
cool.
still a massive learning curve, still learning. But another thing is you also have to do is the mental shift to being I can't do this. Just because I'm not from a chemical background doesn't mean I can't do this.
Exactly,
Other people have done this before.
you
just have to do the mental shift.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Then I have, because I
Yeah.
knew in varsity you did focus on electronics,
yeah.
and then now you are in a space of controls and instrumentation, right? I have my own questions here that I picked up. I have about 9 questions.
Dang. Only 9.
No, I wish you could answer all of them, but yeah. So I have 9, but I want you to choose about 5.
Okay, let's go. 5, 3,
Okay, you just pick as you go. So you choose like 5.
Yeah.
So let's start with 5. How is your education in controls and instrumentation influence your career path? But it's electronics.
Okay.
I mean,
So at my uni, I did not touch instrumentation at all.
yeah.
So when I came into this petrochemical industry, the first thing I heard was something called a valve, and I was like, a valve? You mean like a tap? Oh, there was a lot to learn. So so instrumentation is something to learn, but I mean it's also very broad field itself.
Yeah. But now you did electronics.
Yes.
Is there anything that you learned from electronics from varsity that you've applied maybe now?
So
instrumentation space.
In this electronic field, we do control engineering as well, right?
Oh, okay.
So like controls is something that I actually really liked it at uni. So the applications was a bit different. We were controlling some more robotic systems there, but I mean, we're still dealing with control. You have a system you're dealing with. You want to make your system reach a certain value. How do you do this? With some type of feedback or system or feed forward. So the theory was there from uni. So but just the application here in the petrochemicals now, these all petrochemical energy related systems.
Yeah.
So there's still some base you can learn. It's not an impossible field. I mean, PID can solve a lot of issues.
Yeah.
You think
we also did controls.
Yeah,
chemical.
It's all the same thing. Like this control instrumentation field is kind of like this love child between electrical engineering or electrical/electronic and chemical engineering, but there's also a bit of mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. It's all this big mess. Like it's a very broad field.
Yeah, now that you mention it, you see, I'm not gonna let it slide. So it was one of the questions that I had.
Yeah.
So it was number 6 actually. Like how important is the collaboration with other engineering disciplines? You mentioned electrical, mechanical.
Very
as well.
important.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has to be like powered.
Yeah.
You can think about we live in the modern times, right? Everything needs electricity, some type of energy. Where do we get this from? You need people from the electrical side
Yeah.
with power. Now, in we in control, controls okay, this is understanding you want a certain value. So you want 500 oh, that's too big. Say you want 1 cube per hour of water coming out of your tap or something, right?
Yeah.
So you're dealing with that, but your tap, right, itself, this is a mechanical device. You need to make sure it's designed according to what you want, right? So you have interfaces with mechanical people there.
Oh, of course, mechanical need us. You need us there.
And then with the chemical, right, it's what is the fluid coming out of my tap, right? You have to understand am I choosing the correct tap with the right material that can handle the fluid coming out there, right? You need to understand that from the chemical point of view. I rely a lot on the chemical side or asking people with that background because I lack that initial foundations.
Yeah, okay.
And then I guess from electronic, I mean, in the petrochemical industry, you're not really an electronic engineer, you're more of a control instrumentation engineer. So
in your line of work then, to make your life easy, collaboration with other disciplines.
a heavy. You can't work solo. I mean, this is something what you should learn in university already. As nothing is a solo sport, man. Everything's collaboration.
Yeah, are you gonna suffer if you wanna do things by yourself? Yeah. So okay, cool. So now 5 and 6 are out.
Cool.
Let's go again.
3.
3. Okay, let's see. Can you share examples of how controls and instrumentation are applied in real world industries?
I mean, the petrochemical industry. I mean, okay, let's...
Or just in projects, any project that you've worked on.
We can look on in any sense. All right, you have a geyser at home, right? And your geyser, what's the point of the geyser is to heat up your water, right? Right? How do you ensure that your water stays at the desired temperature you want it at, right?
Yeah.
Now, what can influence your geyser? If your geyser is placed like somewhere outside, then the outside ambient temperature will affect it. So your heating device, which could have been just like a simple kettle, right, needs to be able to heat up when it gets too cold outside and not heat up too much if it's a bit too warm outside, right? So you need to be able to sense like what is the outside temperature. So you need some temperature reading. Cool. So like some fancy geysers might have that.
Yeah.
And then cool, now that we're able to sense, we need to able to control a kettle. So maybe we have a way to increase the heat output from our kettle's heating element. So you need some type of control system that measures what is the outside temperature, what's our inside temperature in the geyser, and then have the ability to then control our heater so we can decide inside temperature.
So how you work on that? You gonna use the feed forward or how's
Oh,
it?
some of that. Like, why make life complex? PID is beauty.
Come on.
So, the main goal of like any control system is just find what do you have to disposal,
Yeah.
how complex is your problem,
Okay.
right? In this case, I would just try with PID. PID can do a lot.
Yeah. No. Okay.
So that is a simple application of something in your house that you would have.
Yeah. Okay. Then another one. You said like 5 and 6 out and 3.
Let's figure this out. You said you have to do 5. Give me 9.
9, last one. Okay. I think we already touched on this one. It's like
Right.
what drew you to studying electronics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah. I mean, the main summary, I loved math, and I saw that electronic did a lot of math. I had an interest in computer programming, understanding how computers work, and a bit of like what robotics seemed very interesting.
Yeah.
So that kind of drove me to get in this field.
I guess you're a curious man and he drove you into that field.
Yeah, I have no regrets. It was very fun.
Yeah. Okay. Then last 2.
Right.
Picking numbers.
1.
Another one. So I can just jump straight into it.
8.
8. Okay. Let's start with 1. Come on. Okay, fine. Anyway, you'll do it again. Could you explain what controls and instrumentation entail in the context of engineering? Yeah.
So, control.
Or you can just say like, but again, we touched on it. How does it intersect with the electronics? I mean,
Yeah.
still-
Well, let me just break up like control instrumentation, like in the name, actually has like 2 facets. It has the control aspect and the instrumentation, right?
Okay.
Instrumentation, the main function of that is to be able to measure something. So
Okay.
instrumentation, just like your thermometer, it's measuring something, as well as the ability to adjust something else. So, for example, like your valves tap, right? You open it more water comes out. You close it, no water comes out, right? So, like you have this ability to control what you want to change, as well as the ability to measure things, right?
Yeah.
But then the whole aspect of how you're able to measure, what type of technologies you use, like that's very broad stream, right? And then control itself could also be applied to like autonomous vehicles. Have you thought of like you have your plane's flying there in the sky, but now a rush of wind comes, right? You don't want your plane to be disturbed there. You need to be able to handle those disturbances. So control theory itself is a very abstract field, but then now typically with this control instrumentation field, CNI, a lot of it's applied to these industrial environments where you have to control some type of measurements that could either be like pressure, flow, temperature, level, and then you have to choose what type of technology to use. That depends on the type of process you're dealing with. Is it a dirty process? Then you can't really have something that is measuring in the dirty fluid. You need something that maybe you can use like radar type technology or So
exactly.
It's very broad field. A lot of people kind of specialize in either focus on the control aspect, like optimizing how to control. Others focus on the instrumentation. How do I measure?
But now in your space, I feel like you're touching on everything. Again, it will depend on where you're working, I guess.
Yes. I mean, if you wanna, you can go work for like a motor company and you're dealing with like the braking system. You can apply a lot of control there. Maybe not that much instrumentation, or not the same type of instrumentation that you do if you worked at a chemical plant.
Yeah, exactly. So last one. Looking ahead, what trends do you foresee in controls and instrumentation technology?
What trends?
Yeah, can be in our industry or can be outside actually.
I
Doesn't
mean,
have to be
control
specific.
has so many like possibilities. Like
Yeah.
we took people to the moon, man. Like the amount of control like during there, like it's also like the so traditional control is usually like this concept called PID, proportional integral derivative, right? That's
Yeah.
like the first thing you learn in like any control course, and then you get these more advanced non-linear things where they dealing
Yeah.
with when they're integrating like machine learning concepts in there. So in control, a lot of things I can see now in the industry is integrating machine learning things. So involving
yeah.
like things like neural networks to control stuff. Like for my final year project itself, you could regard the problem that I was solving as a control problem because I was able to in a typical control problem you do something called feedback where it's like you measure where you currently are, you look at where you want to be, and then based on where you currently are you do some move and that adjusts your current
Okay.
environment you're in, and then you check again, where am I where I want to be, no, make another adjustment. Essentially the approach I solved that was in a sense solving it as a control problem. I just applied some machine learning techniques, more specifically like reinforcement learning.
Yeah. Now looking into like the current line of work, what technologies do you think will be beneficial, but due to cost of that technology, the cost of that technology, like you cannot.
It depends on the industry I think you're working in.
No, okay.
Yeah, it really depends on the industry. If you're dealing with smaller units, say you're dealing with like a drone or something, say maybe the way you want your drone to balance itself while it's in the air to drive autonomous, I can see a lot of this new deep learning things being integrated there. But when dealing more with a petrochemical plant, there's a lot of more power dealing in with the PID, how we're dealing now. I mean, we can still integrate a lot of new network stuff. It's just integrating those stuff is a bit harder because of how robust you require the systems to be,
Yeah, okay.
right? Because there's also the safety aspects you need to consider. Because a lot of this new network stuff, it's a lot of trial and error learning aspects, right?
Yeah.
But depending on what type of like chemical plant you're dealing with, you don't want to do a lot of trial and error like decisions on how you control stuff. Because what if you blow something up, right? I mean, there is research being done in those stuff.
Yeah.
So the application would be there in the future now, but I'll say, yeah, there's always hope for neural networks. A big push for neural networks. You can't tell. So,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
You then if you have to give like advice for someone who's, let's say, final year electronics or electrical, same line, what advice will you give them coming into the industry?
Again, depends. The field's so big.
Yeah, like your field, where you are right now,
The field, like
the chemical industry.
Like in the chemical industry.
Because that's where you have the experience anyway. So.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome. It will hit if you go straight in the chemical industry and want to become like a CNI engineer. There, it is. You need to be open to the idea that you're not limited in your mindset to like, I only did electronics, I only know circuits, I only know signals. It's just like you learn that as just like a foundation, but like you will learn on the fly something new. I learn something new every day. I can tell you how discussion columns work now. It's a big mental shift to know like everyone starts with knowing nothing until they knew something.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, super.
So, and my biggest learning curve is just like, you just have to swallow your pride and just be like, I'm open to learn, and it's fun to be wrong.
It's fun. It's very fun. Then the guys are coming here. But how is your experience so far?
A lot of learnings. So my kind of current experience was just getting this touch and base with the CNI industry is understanding how broad itself is.
Yeah.
Like, you could touch base on delving deep into the systems itself that we use on how to control things. Like we have like some very fancy computer that handles we build all our control logic on, but how is that thing like built, right? But you're also doing stuff to do with like safety. Like people often want to like give us more output, more product, but they're like, at what cost? What if we push to make more product, but now in that self, we overheating our boiler or something, whenever it explodes, right? We need to take that into account. So also there's a lot of control done specifically just on safety that I never heard of, like until I came and never considered. Because the
Safety
application
aspect,
in the chemical industry is like safety is a big thing because you're dealing with dangerous chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see.
it's very broad. Like you'll kind of touch base, and the nice thing of like, because I'm currently in this graduate program, is they allow us to see these different fields and kind of see like where your interests lie.
Yeah.
Currently, my interests are aligned more on the control aspects.
Yeah, then now I've seen like you did electronics, then you come into this environment, you're into the controls. So going forward, are you gonna like looking at the ambitions and all?
So career-wise, I mean,
the controls.
Control engineering itself is actually very interesting. As I said earlier on, like I did control at uni, and that was like one of my favorite subjects I did there. So again, it's just the application you're doing, right? There's a lot I can learn in this chemical industry. A lot of teaching me how it integrates in systems I've never heard of. So yeah, and like control engineering can integrate a lot with modern like trends, like the new deep learning niches and that stuff. So yeah, control is very, very fun field.
Oh, okay. So what's next for you, Uan?
What's next for me in terms of
the career wise?
I'm a thug out control for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, put it like that. Because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot I know I don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of exposure. There's a lot of things that I wondered in like uni about control. Like, how does this actually work? I don't really understand PID deep until I came here. I was like, oh, this is actually how it works. Like, there's a lot more to learn. A lot of niches, a lot of insights. Also learning how to learn quick.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn on the job and then have to stand your ground.
Yeah.
So it's so career-wise, I think currently the control field, because it's also very broad. I currently am enjoying it.
Stick on. You'll be stuck with it for some time.
Yeah, a lot of learnings to get there, and a lot of application in different industries besides control. There's all the stuff you learn from it as well. So.
Okay, super. Then we're gonna close off with some personal questions. There was no way I was just gonna let you slide without asking you these ones here. So again, I have questions. There's 6 of them. Choose 3. Let's go, sir.
I don't know. Let's go 1.
Okay, 1. How is your faith?
My faith?
Yes, your faith in Christ influence your daily lifestyle, the decisions, your relationships.
A lot. Heavy.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, Christianity does play a big role in my life. It does affect how I am as a person. Say before I actually start understanding like who is Christ, what is this entire faith, I was a very hardened person. But now with my growth, I'll say 2018 is really when I found Christ. I've had a lot of growth of where I'm not as hard. Like I don't have such a hardened heart. I'm more open to people. I've become more outspoken out of these years. Okay. People say I'm very much extroverted. I'm not. Okay. I'm truly not. I get a lot of energy.
So you change over time. Okay.
No, but like extroversion, introversion is really about like where you get your energy like from, right? Yeah. So extroverted feed from like in other people and that. Introversion.
And you said like you like spending time by yourself, so
yeah. So like it's like I do enjoy it. So I mean, faith does play a big role, like in terms of like peace. Yeah. Like I remember I was pondered a lot on peace itself. Like why is there a lot going on? Like how can I have this peace? And then it's this understanding that like peace that I'm searching for is this godly peace, like peace inside the storm. Like it doesn't come from being the absence outside God, it's being in the presence of God. Yeah. Like we think about Peter and Jesus on the water, right? You see Peter walk onto the water, right? But as long as he had his line of sight focused on Jesus himself, he was able to walk on the water. The moment he started doubting, he started sinking, right? Right. It's doesn't matter the situation, is like having your focus aligned on Jesus himself, right? Being in his presence. That has helped a lot. Also,
and again, I guess like even with that story, you can just translate it into life. if you focus on your career, you focus
Yeah.
on whatever you're doing, you don't
Yeah.
lose focus, then you will excel in it.
Mm.
The moment you just, I don't know, Ewan goes to the gym, oh, I want to go with you, and then you're losing track of your career or your actions or whatever you say you're going to set your mind on. Just like making a stupid example, but yeah. Let's go. Second one.
How many are you taking in?
I said 6.
And
We're
how
taking
many-
3.
You're taking 3 over 6. Alrighty. Give me 4.
Give you 4. Are there any lesser known or less commonly discussed Bible passages that have deeply impacted your faith, Jenny?
I'll speak of the 2 that I can think of now.
Yeah.
Pondered. One very popular. Other one in like Psalms. Yeah, it's this one I heard as a kid, but it really stuck with me now.
Yeah.
I think it's Psalm. I think 4 verse 8. I could be wrong, but it's just it goes. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone make me dwell in safety. Right. That one was just comforting because I mean, like God is Himself also a comforter Himself, right?
Yeah.
So like that one adds to this idea when I was pondering what peace as well. This verse always came to me. It's like, cool, you will dwell in safety because you're like, I'm with God. Like God is with me there. And I was like, that one really stuck with me to this day still. And then something that's been on me since early this year is like from the book of James about being, slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. That one, it's a lot of conviction, like especially being slow to speak.
Slow to speak.
Slow to speak. It's like you don't always have to say something, right?
Yes.
Rather just listen, because sometimes people just let them get out and just listen to them. That adds more value than you trying to solve the problem. Then some people just want to be heard.
You don't always have to be, I don't know,
and also
have something profound to say.
Yeah.
Just listen.
And you don't have to show people like if you want to like I'm smart, let me just speak quickly. It's like no, like that should just be a result of who you are as a person, not you proving yourself, right?
Exactly.
So being slow to speak, that one's been a tough one. Yeah.
Then the last one. Let's see.
Let's see. Let's go 5.
5. Could you share with us one of your favorite Bible verses? What significance does it hold in?
Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of touching based on the
that one
piece. Let me think. Okay, or generals or this is tough to think about on the spot. If I think of a different one,
don't have to remember the exact scripture where it is.
I mean, yeah,
just the words from it.
Just the words.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's very cliche now because it's a typical one, but it's like, actually no, scrap that. Let's go to something that's recently also interest now is also understanding that armor of God itself.
Okay.
It's knowing that we have what was this recently church the sermon about that, right? The armor of God. It's knowing that that's something we should put on daily itself, something we should wear, right? We read in the Bible saying that we should deny ourselves daily as well, right? We should wear the armor of God because this is what God has also called for us to have. That one has been an interesting one. And then really something to note is with the armor to describe it, right? One thing, they don't describe much anything covering your back itself because it's showing that like you're not against any challenge that you have, right? You have this armor protection, right? You're not showing your back towards whatever problem is coming. Like you're striking it forward. You're standing firm. And yeah, it's just the fact that there's no back plate there really just stresses like God got you. It's fine. Like don't fear.
Yeah. Then you chose 3 already.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But let's leave it. Yeah, then just to almost an hour. Just to close it off. You're a man of flipping jokes and stuff. Give me one joke or pun and so one joke and words of wisdom for people out there. So you look at the
People out there.
camera, tell them.
Which order? Words of wisdom or jokes first?
Let's start with the joke first.
One joke.
Yeah,
Oh, that's tough. One joke.
keep them rolling.
Okay, let me think. Note that this joke is cringy. It's fine if you don't laugh. As long as I laugh, it's fine, right?
I'll put that camera around so you can look at you.
Okay, cool. This is one I remember in uni, my hawker telling me this one was actually very funny. So there was this guy, right? This kid in high school, right? It's his matric balls coming up, right? So
Yeah.
now the first thing first, he needs to first get a date for this ball, right? So what he's doing is he's like, okay, he has someone in mind. He has this girl that he wants to ask out for the date. So now he's at school, and then he sees that she's in the one class right there, and now he's just now outside the classroom, right? He's like, okay, he's gonna walk in and ask her, but now currently he's just outside the classroom, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then he walks in and asks her. Cool, that first thing's done. Then he's like, oh snap, I don't have a suit. So the man is like, okay, goes to the mall. He then finds some suit to just like, okay, what he's gonna rent out and that stuff, or buy. He then gets it, but now there's a long line. Now he's waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Finally gets to purchase the suit. Now it's like it's the day of the magic ball, right? He picks up his partner. They go to the ball and that. Now it's at the ball. They're having all fun, and now at the ball he's now just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually he waits and waits and waits for the punchline.
What the hell? I was waiting for some romantic stuff.
Ooh. That one got me.
Yo, boy. Okay. Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
It's fine to fail. There's always a lot to learn.
Yes, sir.
And have fun throughout the learning process.
Have fun. Super. Two more.
Two
Then
more.
we're done.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir. Remember me again?
Okay. So yeah, I bought shoes by a drug dealer the other day. I'm not sure what he laced it with, but I've been tripping all day.
Yeah. What are you most proud of?
Most proud of.
Yeah.
Wow. That's tough. No, I think I'm gonna say I'm most proud. One person I think I'll never admit this to them.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the most proud thing I'm nothing, but something that is admirable is for example, how my sister herself, she decided to pursue a dream in the media and stuff, and it's actually quite admirable how she is trying to live out a dream and actually pursuing a career in there. That is something that is quite admirable. Never tell it to her face, but
Okay.
I'll say that.
I'll make this a short and I'll send it to her. Okay. Last one. If we had a special day together, what would I want to spend a day with you in?
Hey, come on, I'll make you laugh. I'll probably make a good meal. I'll make you laugh.
No. If we had a special day together, what would you do? What would you want to do? We wouldn't be spending any time together because the man will wake up at 12 on a special day.
Sometimes I show up for the weekly chat touchies, man. Sometimes.
Wow.
I showed up maybe like twice this year.
And how many times we played?
Twice this year.
Stop playing games.
You weren't there the one time.
Okay. So what would we do then?
What will we do? All right. Let's keep it fun. We'll play, I guess, putt.
Putt.
I just
Start first at the gym.
gym. First, we'll get the pump.
Yes.
We'll do a full body workout with extra emphasis on legs.
Okay.
All right. I mean, after obviously I woke up at 12, right?
The whole day is gone by the time you
Nah.
wake
So
up.
we will wake up early. We go to the gym, so around 8 or 9 o'clock. Right. Get the pump. Then get our protein in. Right. Take some protein shakes.
So,
Right. Then I'm vibing. We can grab some steak,
of course.
of course, for lunch. Just steak.
Just steak.
Just steak. Very
You're
nice.
paying
steak.
for a steak, okay.
And then, okay, cool. After that, now say it's about 2-3 o'clock side. Then, something entertaining, something challenge, fun. Actually, you know what would be fun? Paintball.
Where in Secunda?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You didn't have to do it, yeah. Either paintball,
Yeah.
right, just to get more frustrations out so I can just shoot Greg with paint. And then cool, that probably would take the rest of the afternoon. And then again, the evening, now we have steak with some carbs.
Sounds like a plan.
And I think that'll be cool there.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'm tired today, so you do the closing for me. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this show of the P2 podcast. Stay tuned for the next one.
What about like, share, and subscribe, Ewan?
And oh yeah,
I've been desperate
remember
because I
to
don't
like
say it enough.
remember to like and follow my Instagram account. Please like, share, follow, send this out to your friend, your friend's friend, your mother's friends. The most important thing about surviving in industry is networking. So please share.
Thank you.
Hopefully this can inspire other people.
That's the whole point.
All
Thank
right.
you. And like, share,
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
Stay tuned for our next episode.
and we out.